You are listening to the Two and Out CFL podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Grab some poutine and a double-double. It's time for the Two and Out CFL podcast.
He's got it! Oh, baby!
Every week, Travis Currah.
That's Grey Cup me, which is a different person.
And Brazilian Ty.
Hunters are people too.
Talk fantasy football, bring you the latest in CFL news, and sprinkle in a little bit of nonsense.
Oh, nearly intercepted, and it's over!
Ready, set, hunt!
And welcome to another episode of the Two and Out CFL podcast. Travis Currah and Brazilian Ty. Man, I haven't said anything about this. We've been away for a little while. I honestly considered retiring Two and Out, and I just don't know if I could have or will find the creative energy, the juices to do the show anymore. But then the other day, somebody just out of the blue asked me about my predictions for the upcoming season, and then I thought, I can't let it go. I still love the game. I still got the season tickets. I'm still going to the Grey Cup. I still want to do this, but can I?
It is a grind.
Yeah, the season is a grind. So just like a veteran CFL player at about 36 or 37 years old, that every year they sign a 1-year deal and not sure if they're ready for it until training camp.
We're WHA Gordie Howe right now.
I think I'm ready for another season. So let's get underway with what's gone on over the past few weeks. We got the news that the late, great Joe Cap has passed away. He was the first quarterback to bring a Grey Cup to BC in 1964. He was a CFL All-Star twice, and his number 22 has been retired by the Leos for his contributions on and off the field. Of course, we all remember the 2011 Grey Cup incident with Angelo Mosca, and that will forever live in CFL lore, but he did have an incredible career as well, and he should be remembered for that too, of course.
And I really hope that they continued the fight.
Somebody's waving a cane at the great Grey Cup in the sky. Now, we got news about a week and a half ago that the CFL is going to be bringing at least some streaming to the fans, and it's been what people have been asking for a long time. So I really hope that those fans support this initiative and find ways to watch the games. It includes CFL preseason live. And I know we've made jokes about preseason football in the past, but hey, a lot of these guys are coming to Canada for the first time trying to earn jobs on the field. Well, let's face it, the coaches don't care what we think. They don't care what the fans think. And they don't
Especially Chris Jones.
They don't have much time to evaluate players at all. So these games, a lot of decisions are made in 2-3 series. Like, I can't imagine packing your life up and coming to Canada and having this little of an opportunity, but you'll be able to watch those with the CFL's first ever live streaming platforms. They've got CFL Preseason Live and also CFL Plus, which is, I think, pretty big news. It'll be able to serve the fan base, they say. More Americans will be able to see their players. CFL Plus will live stream all games not being broadcast on the CBS Sports Network in the States, while the entirety of the 2023 season, including the Grey Cup playoffs and the Grey Cup, will be available for viewers outside of North America. That is pretty cool for the CFL to pull this off.
And like, starting with preseason, do people want preseason games? Yes. It goes for 6 months where we don't have Canadian football, and yes, there is the NFL and everything, but it's just different. You want it? Do I want to watch it? No. That's just me, right? But I mean, especially like you mentioned, the guys that uproot their lives and come up here for maybe the chance to play half a game, their families can watch now. There is a chance for them to see them play a game of football. So that is huge. The streaming, I mean, TSN does stream their stuff, but you got to have subscription and everything. So this is something outside of a cable subscription or something like that with the CFL and CFL Plus. I just hope that it doesn't go to by the wayside, like production and quality wise. That's what I worry about when you're getting into that stuff. That it's just kind of put over here.
New health and safety measures have been introduced to further safeguard players. We've seen the linemen, the running backs, and the linebackers wearing those guardian caps this season. And I don't know if you've seen what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have done, those massive ball caps you can buy at the store.
They're the best. I love those.
Kind of reminds me of that, except on your helmet.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we've been talking about player safety, and it's been a thing and a conversation in all of sports. It feels like for the past decade or so. So
don't get me started on player safety as an Oilers fan. Don't do it.
Anything that makes the game at least a little bit safer, especially during a training camp. You don't want a serious injury during this time of year. They've got the medical tents that they're bringing in. There's going to be pregame medical meetings, medical staff training, just a lot of the little stuff that will probably yield big results. And speaking of little things, the rule changes that we've seen coming into town this season, none of them are really big. They're all just little things that are fine-tuning the rule changes. If you do want to read about them, CFL.ca, they're all up there.
They did mess one up, let's be honest.
Which one? The teams that can't wear 0 or 00?
Why are you the way that you are? We both know which one. We both know which one.
It's the Rouge?
They went the wrong way with it.
They went more like all in, right?
They went more screw it. Like because we saw teams like no, it had to go the other way.
Because I think most fans, they want to see the Rouge only if the returner touches the ball,
Yeah.
But now it doesn't have to be touched. So
yeah.
There's one real change we have coming into 2023. There are 4 preseason games this weekend. We're recording this right before Montreal and Ottawa are set to play. That game is broadcast tomorrow. A couple games.
Shortly after, I just tied my personal best.
Tied?
BT dub.
Well done.
I blew up on the back nine. It was real
bad. Winnipeg playing Edmonton tomorrow, Saturday, Toronto and Hamilton, and BC and Saskatchewan. Speaking of the Riders, I think probably the biggest storyline heading into the season is who's going to be backing up Trevor Harris. Will it be the players that were on the roster last year, Mason Fine, Jake Dolagala, or a newcomer like Shea Patterson? He's been, I guess, impressing some fans. He's looked poised and throwing a pretty good ball at training camp. So that is going to be a storyline to follow in Saskatchewan. And I think the offseason went a little bit better than some fans maybe thought it was going to go in Regina. They've added some toughness in the trenches, including veteran offensive lineman Philip Blake and defensive tackle Micah Johnson. You have to think that that is going to help out a guy like Pete Robertson, who I do know he got hurt last year, but he started the season incredibly well, slowed down as it went on. But if you're able to add a guy like Micah Johnson to the fold, that's going to help those defensive ends get pressure on the quarterback. Yeah,
like if you make teams start thinking about having to double a defensive tackle, which when Micah Johnson is on the field, it has to be a thought.
Oh yeah,
they're not necessarily going to do it every time. But if you have to pick 3 guys and you can really only double 2 of them, I mean, that's going to give somebody a pretty good matchup, no matter which side you're on whether you're on the left side or the right side, or if you're in the middle. It just gives the defense a lot more options, a lot more lanes of pressure that they can create. As for the backup job, I mean, it comes down to But you can't even say who performed the best because, I mean, Mason Fine kind of got thrown to the Wolves last year. And at the same time, it's a very important position because of two reasons. A, if Trevor Harris gets hurt, then yes, you need, or he plays like crap, you need somebody there. B, it's the most important position in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, it's the most popular player on the roster.
Right? Like, how Tino isn't still in the mix is beyond me.
In Ottawa, there's now a wide open battle for Sim linebacker as veteran linebacker Patrick Levels has been released. Bob Dice saying that Damon Webb is a guy who's in the mix. Same with Alonzo Ade. So there's going to be some players to watch there as the preseason moves along and training camp moves along. And Braylon Addison, released by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, has signed in Ottawa. I think we both agree that he can be a great receiver in the CFL. The only problem is he does need to find a way to stay on the field. A lot of stuff out of his control that's gone on in his career. If he's able to stay on the field, he will be able to make some things happen between those gridiron and between the sidelines. And he's played with Jeremiah Masoli before, so that kind of does help his prospects in Ottawa.
It ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah. We do have one preseason game in the books. Calgary beat Edmonton 29-24. I wonder if it was kind of a litmus test for future May-long football. Football isn't exactly on my mind May-long weekend.
No, on my mind, it's just trying to find fresh air that isn't filled with smoke on May-long.
That did delay the game by 30 minutes. There was a thunderstorm that delayed the game.
Lightning rolled through. It's like the apocalypse.
Yeah. And hey, next year it could be snow on
How dare you?
May-long Monday.
Hey, at this point, any moisture is good moisture.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Dave Dickinson, don't tell him it was a preseason game. He did not hold back with criticism of Tommy Stevens and Jake Mayer, who goes into the season as the mayor of McMahon. He gets the reins in Calgary, but some of the newcomers did impress Dave Dickinson, and there's always been this factory of quarterbacks in Calgary. And I was
quarterbacks, receivers, linebackers, offensive line. Like, what are we talking about here?
Because I was talking to somebody like, I don't know if it was. It remains to be seen if it was the best time to move on from Bo Mitchell.
Yeah.
But I felt the same way about Charleston Hughes. He had some good seasons in Saskatchewan after that as well. But Dave Dickinson,
money plays a big role in that, though, too.
For sure. And John Huffnagel know more about playing quarterback than I ever will. So Chris Reynolds and Logan Bonner were the guys that left nice first impressions. We will see who gets to stick with the Calgary Stampeders as things move on. You brought up linebackers.
Just before we move on from that, how you said Dave was hard on Mayer and Tommy Stevens, and don't tell him it's a preseason game. You gotta think about it. There's not a lot of time to make these cuts. It's not like the NFL where now I know it's only 3 weeks in the NFL. You only got 3 games now with that bye week. But like, remember when we only played 2, and it was a crapshoot. Like, you saw guys for a series and you never saw them again.
Yeah.
So I mean, was he critical? Yes. Does he demand perfection? Yes. But he also has the hardest decisions to make. All 9 teams do. And so they have to look at these like they're real football games. These are not tryouts at this point.
Jordan Herdman Reed was released by the BC Lions. He's now a Stampeder. And hey, you did mention the sort of factory of linebackers that roll through Calgary. Jameer Thurman is off to Hamilton now, and they did lose Darnell Sankey recently as well, who's going to step in and be that dominant linebacker for the Stampeders. It seems like maybe that's the system in Calgary. There's always a linebacker that people thought Corey Greenwood was done. He comes to Calgary, has a great, I think, resurgence in his career. This goes back to Jawan Simpson times, man. Like, they always
you just have to be an athlete. And it makes me the guy I hate, because I hate Buck Martinez. Oh, this guy's a ball player. No, he's playing baseball. right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you are athletic, you don't have to be like, you don't have to be a prototype. You got to be athletic. You got to be able to get to the ball. You got to be able to cover. You got to be able to blitz. You do all this other stuff. If you can do that, you can play quarterback for the Calgary Stampeders. They don't keyhole guys. You have to be an athlete, and you got to be super athletic. And if you are, they will find a spot for you. And I think that's what it is. I think they just keep churning these guys out, because like the best player growing up when he played baseball was always a shortstop. There's 9 guys that start in the major leagues. I guarantee you they all played shortstop in Little League.
Yeah.
There's a reason. They're the best athlete on the field.
Micah Awe, he's a guy that's kind of bounced around the league. He's probably one of the hardest hitting guys in the league.
Guys have bounced off of him around the league.
Now he's a Calgary Stampeder, and we're going to see
this isn't even fair anymore.
What he's going to do in that defense. Silas Stewart is another name that is standing out. He's currently out with a toe injury. Perry Young was with the Stamps last year. He's another guy. There's a lot of guys in there, and we might see some new faces impressing at linebacker for the Stamps. I think one of the keys this year is hopefully being able to keep the secondary as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
It does appear Trey Roberson is going to be entering the season healthy. That will help. It does suck that Jalen Philippot is injured and is going to miss some significant time to start the season. I was looking forward to seeing what he was going to follow up his rookie season with. The Elks were on the losing end of that game in Calgary, but they did give the Stamps fits. Hey, they're the guys that made it hard on the starting quarterbacks for the Stamps. And hey, that conversation I had earlier this week, I cannot count the Elks out for a home playoff game. I think that the Bombers.
Actually, oh man, yeah,
the Bombers are still on top until
to be the man.
Yeah,
you got to beat with a tear in my eye. Like they are Ric Flair. They are Ric Flair right now.
But
coming in number 1.
I just think about the offense. Taylor Cornelius, he's got a cannon of an arm. We saw what he did against the Riders, running all over them last year.
That's not a fair.
But now, Geno Lewis, a full season of Dylan Mitchell, a full season of running back Kevin Brown, and
I'm
then
sold.
I think the Elks are legit contender here for a home playoff game. A lot of other teams, I think it's Winnipeg and then still everybody else. I'm hesitant to count Calgary out. They're always finding ways.
No, I think I kind of agree with you, but I think it's Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, BC, and then Saskatchewan. I just don't know if there's enough there yet.
Right.
But we'll get to that in a preview show at some point, maybe.
Yes,
if I'm alive still.
Maybe Hey, your surgery recovery must be going well if you're out there playing golf.
Probably not supposed to be. It hurts. It hurts so bad. I don't have any good drugs.
Hopefully your boss doesn't hear this. But what's harder, playing golf or working?
Oh, playing golf.
But you also enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Today on when I quit yesterday or last year.
Yeah, he's like, if somebody came to pick up Ty's golf clubs, he would not be on the course this year.
No,
or would you just bought a new set?
I would have just spent $4,400 a year earlier than I did.
Hey, those fitted clubs, they make you a better player or what? Hey, you tied a personal best.
Yes, I played 3 over on the front 9 today and then blew up on the back. Okay. And I golfed with the head pro's dad. Just got randomly paired up with him. And we were on like the 17th hole. And he's like, hey, can you stop talking to yourself and just like hit a golf ball? Like, stop calling yourself an idiot. Stop calling yourself an a-hole. Like, just, you're in your own head. And then, yeah, sure enough, just pump and drive.
And then you got better.
Yeah. And then I played the last 2 holes at 1 over. I'm like, oh, so it can be done.
The Elks have acquired Theron Churchill from the Toronto Argonauts for a pick next year from the great Alberta metropolis of Stettler, Ty.
The heartland.
Yeah.
Some call it the heart of Alberta. Bashaw Meats. You ever been?
The Hamilton Tiger Cats, I feel like the pressure is on.
No.
Okay, if they don't win, there's no way they're not blowing up the cap this year with all of the acquisitions they've made. Even on the coaching staff, Jeff Reinbold back in the CFL, Scott Milanovic is with the
how many?
Tiger Cats.
What's even the coaching rules anymore?
Beats me, man.
I'm so lost.
I don't know what they're getting paid or how they're getting paid.
I got an idea.
James Butler is now the running back there, or whatever role they have for him in Hamilton. I mean,
let's call it a back. Don't call it running.
Yeah. Will they run the ball? But he is a good receiving back, so maybe it will work for Bo Mitchell and the.
And I don't think Bo wants to throw the ball 50 times a game, though, either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that might force their hand a little bit.
Joel Figueroa is now with the Tabbies, and I think the offensive line has been kind of a point of discussion for Hamilton over the last few years here. That'll be a big piece added to their front. Now, I think the biggest thing will be managing personalities in the Ticat locker room. What do you think about that?
No, it'll be fine. I think, like you said, you mentioned the pressure. Like if they don't win, if they make it to the Grey Cup and lose again, or they don't even make the Grey Cup, you might as well just move the team to Halifax. They can be the Schooners, because that city might burn down.
Now,
that part of Toronto might burn down.
It's a crime that the Ticats don't play in Calgary this year, but the dream Grey Cup matchup has to be
100%.
Calgary going through the West, going to Tim Hortons Field, and facing Bo Mitchell.
And then Jake Mayer comes out, throws 400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
And the Ticats lose.
And then Ticats lose, yeah.
That is the dream scenario for the 110th Grey Cup. A team older than the Grey Cup is the Toronto Argonauts, as they celebrate 150 years this season. They are the team in North America that's used their name for the longest amount of time. The amount of history that the Argos have is incredible. They're a team that needs to be supported by the Six. They are the defending Grey Cup champions, and they had this press conference at the Argonaut Rowing Club. Canadian football historians just had to be nerding out.
Oh,
about that moment.
Was Stephen Brunt there? Because he might have passed out.
This 150th anniversary logo, the boat, the pull together on there, all season long, they're going to be marking this historic occasion. But a lot of change on the roster again after winning the Grey Cup.
They are the 1998 version Florida Marlins.
But it always happens.
And the 2004 Florida Marlins.
This just always happens for Toronto. There is no more McLeod Bethel Thompson.
No.
He's in the USFL. Do I know how he's been doing? No.
Decent, I hear.
Decent. All right. Good for him. Good for him. Now, Chad Kelly, the guy leading the Argos into the season.
Also the guy that every Rider fan on Twitter said that they should go out and get after one drive. Do you see why I hate these people?
It's the final stand for Andrew Harris, Brazilian Ty's favorite player.
His final shot. Kobe.
Swish. But Chad Kelly, is he ready?
Only one way to find out.
Feels like a quote from the 2015 election campaign. But is Chad Kelly ready?
Oh, they're so topical, it hurts.
to lead the Argos into this season. But hey, Curly Gittens Jr. Can he repeat what happened last year? I think they're going to need those running backs more involved. AJ Ouellette. And I remember last year, it took him forever to get a rushing touchdown from a non-QB.
Yeah.
Wasn't
it like the last game of the year?
Yeah. I have to think that is going to be a focus.
A point of emphasis.
Yeah.
Or emphasis, if you will.
Going into the season. But hey, they've still got Wynton McManus. They still got Enoch Mwamba. They've got Jordan Williams, the former number 1 pick by the BC Lions, coming into the year. The defensive line, they're monsters. Sean Oakman, Orimolade from Calgary coming to town. They're still going to be a tough team to deal with. Will the offense be able to match what the defense is able to do?
They're gonna beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Whether on the defensive side of the ball or on the ground with Harris and Ouellette, it's the quarterback position has the most question marks, and he's barely played. So it's a wait and see, and they're gonna win games on their defense. And sure, Chad Kelly is probably gonna win a game or two with his arm. He's mobile, like he can move around a bit. It's just all 18 games, big sample size. We're gonna see what he really is.
Now, the Montreal Alouettes, I think they're another team that's going to take a hit this season. If you do like fullbacks, you might be a fan of the Alouettes. It might be Dwayne Ford's favorite team going into the year.
Wasn't it kind of already?
Yeah, but as the season went on last year in Saskatchewan, Moss started getting the fullbacks out there, and I think it was mostly probably to help out the offensive line.
Didn't have a lot of other options.
Yeah, a healthy Williams standback. They will need him to be healthy. The Owls have drafted a couple fullbacks. They do have James Tuck on the roster. Let's see how these guys are going to be worked into the offense for Cody Fajardo and Jason Moss. Now, Hergy Mayala has extended his contract with the Alouettes, but I do see this being a tough team or a tough season for the team. There's been an ownership change, but I think the delay with that really handcuffed them going into free agency and also the draft this year. Yeah. I hope the best for the Alouettes, but I think it might be a tough one for them. Losing somebody like Geno Lewis is always tough, but they did gain, or they still have Chandler Worthy, and they did gain Greg Ellingson, right? So that would add some experience to the offense, but right now it might be a tough year in Montreal.
Yeah, and we talked about the last couple of years, the little momentum that they've been able to build, and then the ownership, we'll call it a debacle, happens this past season into the offseason. It kept just stretching out and stretching on and kept going. And then, like you said, it bleeds into the draft, it bleeds into free agency, and all of a sudden then it's done, and you're already handcuffed because it's hard to, when it comes to signing free agents, especially bonuses.
Yeah.
Right. If your ownership is in flux, it's hard. You're not MLSE, who can just hand out $10 million on July 1st to John Tavares every year. Right?
Yeah.
You can't do that. You don't have the pockets, and you can't just sign off on something. The new owner comes in and says, what the hell is this? So you're handcuffed there. You want to see them keep progressing, but it just feels like it's a step back here. But then you look at the weapons with Mayala and Ellingson and Chandler Worthy and William Standback. Feels like there is something there. The mojo just doesn't feel right now.
In BC, the Lions did mention Jordan Herdman-Reed being released. Well, in Montreal, a big addition to that secondary is Jamal Roll, who is huge. Yeah, did leave Montreal, so that'll help the secondary for sure. For BC,
Jordan Hamilton.
Oh yeah, he left Hamilton and is now in Montreal. In BC, Jordan Herdman-Reed released. He's already in Calgary. Sean Lemon released already.
Like, you just lost why would you release your biggest trade chip?
I don't know if it's money.
Yeah,
he was the West nominee for most outstanding defensive player 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in the offseason?
I don't know.
So I think Lemon could be an addition to a team. It seems like every time he's told he's done, he comes in and has a dynamite year. Maybe Calgary just brings him back and he
Don't
lights
say
it on
that.
fire again.
Oh.
But maybe the only reason is because the Lions had an opportunity to bring in Jonathan Kongbo, who started his CFL career with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He was behind Willie Jefferson and Jackson Jeffcoat. He rotated in a few times and then has spent some time with the Denver Broncos. Now back in the CFL with the BC Lions. He's long like Willie Jefferson. He's an athlete like Willie Jefferson. And BC Lions will be expecting big things from him this season. They have released Steven Stove Richardson, the defensive tackle.
What a nickname.
It's a great nickname. He's encountered some difficulties with injuries. Would have been a great piece to have on the defensive line, but I'm sure the injuries are the reason why he's been let go for the Lions. And one of the storylines to watch as preseason games start, as training camp moves along, is the running back position. James Butler kind of came out of nowhere last year. It helps that Nathan Rourke was there, and in the first game of the year, he had like 5 touchdowns. So it was a great start to the season for him. Now it is a wide open battle at running back in Vancouver, or I guess in Kamloops as things move along here.
Home of the 2023 Memorial Cup.
Yes,
British Columbia.
Starting this weekend, that Memorial Cup. So we'll see who's going to win that job coming out of camp, because as we play fantasy football, it's sure to be a $2,500 option or somewhere in there as the season starts, and will be a mainstay on my roster for a few weeks. But if you're a CFL fan and you're a BC Lions fan, please visit their YouTube channel and watch the Arrow Up documentaries. It even followed the team to the States when Vernon Adams Jr., and I know he's did this in Montreal, but he brings the receivers in, a few DBs in. They start to learn the playbook, gain some chemistry together by running some plays. Man, it is so great, the access that they have and the documentaries that they put together. I think it's just great for the fans, and it's just a great watch.
Dolan's been killing it.
Yeah, just great work with the BC Lions there. Now we'll talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here, where I still think they're going to be on top, but I do wonder if more cracks are going to start to show in the armor.
Once you get to the top of the mountain, all that's left is lightning. So at some point, this has to come crumbling down.
Yeah, I think last year the defense was starting to give up more yards. They weren't as dominant as they were, but
they did lose the Grey Cup.
Yeah, that's true. And it was just a different offense, though. More high flying from the Bombers. Because as I said, maybe they start to show cracks. There's always that moment where it's 2nd and 17. Zach Collaros is running for his life, and they convert the first down. It just always happens. They lose Kenny the King Lawler. Dalton Schoen comes in. Now they're teammates. So they're not the Bombers where they ran all over you with the running game and handed the ball off 25, 30 times a game. They're the Bombers that can score on you from anywhere on the field. Kenny
with
Lawler,
Zach Collaros,
as
a 2-time MOP winner.
We thought he was done 3 years ago. Everyone thought he was done.
Like, where did this come from?
And the strong offensive line that's been able to keep him almost untouched,
more or less,
has been the reason why they've been able to have so much success. The defensive secondary was another team that had some injury troubles last year and some inconsistency a little bit here and there, but Mike O'Shea has been raving about a couple new or DBs that were there last year, and Jamal Parker and Evan Holm. I mean, O'Shea said Holm has as good a feet as you'll ever see on a DB. So if they can stay healthy, when O'Shea's praising these guys, although he does praise all his players in the media, and I think that's why people like to go play in Winnipeg. So we'll be watching the new faces in the secondary. Ricky Walker expected to be the starting defensive tackle as Casey Sales is off to Hamilton, another great addition to the Ticats. So
like they're $10 million over the cap right now.
Yeah. But in Winnipeg, the defensive line didn't get the pressure last year that we've become accustomed to, and that in turn hurts the secondary. So Ricky Walker's got a big job ahead of him. Are we going to see pressure from those ends? I mean, Jeff Coate was kind of in and out of the lineup with injury issues in 2022. That's going to be a big thing to watch for Winnipeg coming into the season.
The one thing that worries me with Ricky Walker is he's 6'2", 287.
Right.
He is not Drake Nevis. He is not these big nose tackles that you see that will bull rush. Can he bull rush somebody? Absolutely. More than likely, yes, he can. Is he going to draw the same attention that those big guys do in the middle? I don't know. That's the only thing that worries me is he's a little undersized to be playing nose tackle.
And Sergio Castillo's back in Winnipeg.
I'm not doing it.
A name that Ticat fans don't want to know. I mean, 5 field goals in the Grey Cup in 2021. Probably the reason that a big reason that the Bombers are able to clinch the championship that year.
Remember when we said field goals won't win you games?
Hey, they'll lose you games. It happened to the Bombers last year.
Just like John Snyder in Toronto right now. Managers won't win you ball games, but they can sure as hell lose you ball games.
Man, that about wraps things up for preseason going into week 2.
Argo's new jersey.
Unis. Did you like them?
No. I like the helmet.
Yeah.
And I like the color that they went with. And the shoulders, like I'm assuming they're supposed to be oars.
Right.
That's about it.
I think so.
I don't like them. The pants look weird. The logo, like the logo is like where you would be pulling down to show a risque tattoo. It's like I don't like them.
I guess
I like the blue. I don't like those jerseys.
I guess it's the opposite, like contrast, like the I don't know, the baby
They're like
blue,
the reverse retro NHL.
Yeah. I do like.
I love the helmet. I don't see how people can hate that helmet.
Yeah, the helmet's awesome. There's no way around that. But new look Argos for their 150th anniversary, and maybe some new looks that we're going to be seeing more and more as new era stamps puts their mark on the CFL.
Hey, at least the CFL didn't get a deal with Fanatics.
Yeah, and I hope that doesn't happen, man. I hope that doesn't happen. We're not retired yet. We're here for the 2023 season.
Once you start thinking about it, though, you're already there.
That's true.
That's what they say. This might be the last season.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah, this could be 6 seasons in a movie.
And it's not even like going out on top. It's jumping the shark and then just fading away.
I wouldn't even say we jumped. I say we ran into the shark. I don't think either one of us could jump it. I definitely can't water ski. I'll tell you that for free.
Rate, review, and subscribe to Two and Out on your favorite podcatcher, and maybe throw us a subscription on YouTube as well, so you can see that beautiful caterpillar that Brazilian Ty has been keeping on his face. And he's started a mullet. How do you style a mullet? Do you kind of fluff the top, like if you're going out for a night on the town? Like how do you?
Or like your grandma's funeral or something, where you had to put makeup on your forehead because you got a really bad sunburn.
They made you put makeup on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you had a hat line, right?
Oh, like it's
It's still there.
yeah.
So I was hoping that there would be a
It's like-
patterned burn.
Yeah.
Like,
But I have the hat, the trucker hat though, so it's not
okay.
too bad, right?
Okay.
But,
So if you had the
yeah.
pattern burn on your head, it would be like a goalie crease, like almost.
The old goalie creases, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I had to put foundation on. Well, I didn't. My auntie did, but yeah.
I guess this show gives me a reason to catch up with Brazilian Ty, and maybe
sure
that's
I'm
more of a
alive.
reason to retire. I don't know.
Yeah, but think about it. The less time you spend with me, the more time you got to spend with your sister. So it's really.
We will talk to you next week. I'm hitting stop.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.